Welcome everybody. It's your boy Big Daddy Cosplay, and welcome to a new era of Books of the Week. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know I've kind of changed the format to how this happened. So what I've decided to do for those who are just now kind of checking in, because again, it's been a minute since I've been here on YouTube. So hi, miss me? All 5 of you who watched this video, I'm back. Anyway, so again, like I changed the format. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, which you should be, you still get a Books of the Week video, but it's very streamlined. It's just kind of like, you know, I'm doing more showing and less telling, right? And if you join me back here on YouTube, then I can do more telling and a little less showing, right? We'll see how it works. Right? I will try almost anything once. So in any event, it's your boy Big Daddy Cosplay, and it is time for Books of the Week. So I have a lot of stuff to go ahead and get through. And maybe actually, see, here's another reason to go ahead and follow me on YouTube, because yeah, you get like some Books of the Week that I show you on Instagram, but there may also be stuff here that you don't see on Instagram that I may have decided I want to go ahead and talk about on YouTube because I have more time, right? Isn't that cute? You like that? Yeah? All right. So let's move on and just go ahead and get into the business of comics, because that's what we're here for. Hopefully that's what you want to see. I'm going to go ahead and start. I've got a ton of stuff to go ahead and get through. Let's go. All right. So before I start, right, I used to spend a whole lot of time with like video editing and all like that. Like, you know, the video editing days are done, right? You know, this is all like, you know, raw, uncut. It's video. You guys are just gonna get it, and you're gonna see the books, and I'm gonna talk about the books. I'm not putting any fancy pictures and graphics up. Maybe the graphics will stay, but no pictures. All right. So that's that. All right. Now, unless you guys start like, you know, really upping up your views on this and I start making money, I can get a production team, and then we can do all that fun stuff. Shout out to James A. Janice with the production team. Kill Count. Dead Meat. It's a good dude. All right, it's a great show. All right, moving on. Comics. All right, so I'm going to start with Philadelphia number 15. The battle between undead detective James Sangster Jr. and vampire queen Abigail reaches a fever pitch here in this issue. Things are going to get bloody. And for a book that features nothing but blood and death, that's saying a lot. Go get the book. It's Philadelphia number 15. You want this. Go get it. Again, as I always say when it comes to that book, if you are not reading it, it's one of the best books out consistently every week. Consistently every month. It's not a weekly book. Consistently every month. Shout out to Rodney Barnes, continuing to do great work on that book. And he's got some new stuff coming out, so I would definitely implore you to go ahead and check out anything that Rodney Barnes has coming out, because I'm definitely a fan. So. Philadelphia number 15, go get the book. All right. We're gonna move on to Blue and Gold number 1. It's a 8 or 6? It's an 8-issue limited series, and the boys are back. Right. For all you guys who are classic DC fans, like, you know, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, 2 of the more offbeat characters in the DC universe. Like 2 best friends, like, you know, tend to kind of exist on the outskirts of everything else. You know, you have Ted Kord, aka the Blue Beetle, who very well could be a full-fledged member of the Justice League, and then you have Booster Gold. Yeah, and then you have Booster Gold. Now, the thing about that is, there's a very funny thing about that. I'm gonna put the book down now. All right. Very funny thing about that is, like, you know, if you guys like um, have ever checked out, at least like within the last 10 years or so of DC Comics. And I'm going to go back towards like, damn, what was that? The Weekly 52 series that came out back after Infinite Crisis. DC did a Weekly 52 series, and Booster Gold was one of the prominent characters that was featured in that weekly series. And then, he went on to have a prominent role in the DC universe, and also had a role when the New 52 came along, leading the Justice League International when they brought that book back. And then at some point, when that book came to an end, they kind of erased Booster Gold from the timeline. And then when things started kind of like shift back, and they did away with the New 52, and they went back to the Rebirth DC universe, we got Booster Gold back. Booster Gold on the surface seems like a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Self-serving, kind of obnoxious, very all about me kind of. He's a jerk, right? But the tragedy of Booster Gold is the fact that this dude has actually saved the DC universe more times than people know, but unfortunately he has to take this role of being looked at as a fool, right? It is the gift and the curse of being Booster Gold, right? He's the guy who constantly puts his life on the line and has put his life on the line many times to try to save the DC universe, and has, because he's one of those characters that kind of exists in the future past kind of deal. It's really hard to explain it, and if you're not well up on the history of the character. But in any event, Blue and Gold #1. It's really fun. First start to the book, first issue. I highly recommend going to get this book, especially for all you guys who really enjoyed Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, as a brotherhood, as a union, as a tag team superhero partnership, right? Yes. So Blue and Gold #1. Go ahead and get the book. All right. Now we're gonna move on to Truth and Justice #6. So if you guys have been following me on Instagram, and maybe previous YouTube videos of books of the week, you guys will know that Truth and Justice is an anthology book, basically starring different heroes of the DC universe. And it comes out monthly, and each issue features a DC universe character, and it's kind of representative of what does Truth and Justice kind of represent / mean to the character. It's basically a one-off story starring said character, in some type of position, and they have to go ahead and find truth and justice in the story. That is the basic theme of the book, and what we found is in a lot of cases, so far in this series, which I do really enjoy. It's an opportunity for them to go ahead and get some characters involved who don't get a lot of screen time, and then there's also an opportunity if there's a Superman story that you want to tell, and of course there's what character is more representative of Truth and Justice than Superman, right? And so if there's a Superman story you want to tell under the guidelines of the Truth and Justice moniker, you can go ahead and tell that story, which they did, right? So now this month issue features Robin, right? And it's another pretty good issue. I don't want to sit here and say too much about it. You guys go ahead and read the book. It's got a very nice and heartwarming end. to the story. But it stars Robin, the Damian Wayne Robin, right? Um, you know, such a polarizing character. Like, you know, people either really love him or they fucking hate him. I don't know. Like, it did take me a while to warm up to Damian being Robin, because like he's a dick. I mean, he's a dick, right? But Damian is a character who does really want to try to do the best he can possible, and while also trying to get out of the shadow of being Batman's son. So there's a lot involved there. But this was a good issue, featuring Damian Wayne Robin. We're going to move on to Gamma Flight number 2. So again, I'm going to go back to those of you who followed me on Instagram. You know, you guys remember one of the last videos on there, I was raving about this book, like absolutely raving about this, because it featured the return of the guy here on the cover. All right. It's literally been years since we've seen Scar. The last time we saw him, his father had taken away his gamma abilities. The Hulk had taken away his powers, right? And now Scar is back with his powers back. And to be quite frank and honest, like during this whole Immortal Hulk run of books, it was I felt like it was only a matter of time before Scar came back, and they did not let me down. So Scar's back, and he's beating the shit out of Gamma Flight. Now again, I'm kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Streamlining my answer a little bit. Paraphrasing what happened in the book, because there's more at stake than just Scar coming along and beating the shit out of Gamma Flight. Right. Speaking of which, if you're not familiar with what this book is, if you guys have been reading Immortal Hulk, you guys might know that the Gamma Flight was basically an offshoot team of the spacefaring Alpha Flight team that was led by Captain Marvel. They were given strict orders to go ahead and bring in the Immortal Hulk, and they did not. So now they're on the run. And the team features Sasquatch, Titania, Puck, and the Absorbing Man. And somebody else whose name I can't remember right now. But in any event, Scar's here. He's causing them problems, and there's also another surprise at the end of the book, right? Which I dare not tell you because I thought it was pretty fucking big. I will sit here and definitely tell you, like, you know, if this is one of those, like, you know, little limited series that you didn't think was important, I would tell you that you're dead wrong. Like, I don't think they would have put this book out as like a side story to the main Immortal Hulk book without it meaning something, and it does, right? There are definitely some things that play here, and I think you really want to go ahead and get this book, especially that issue number 2. Big surprise at the end. So Gamma Fight number 2, go ahead and get the book. Right. Moving on. It is Captain Marvel number 30, right? It is the finale to the Strange Magic story arc, where she kind of had a fling with Doctor Strange in the beginning, and, you know, Captain Marvel learned magic. That was not a good decision, because it brought her, like, you know, straight on ahead with Amor the Enchantress and a villain from the previous story arc. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. His name is Ove. And there are, I'll put it like this. Carol makes a decision that could have negative ramifications for her in the future, right? And it's probably one of the things that, like, you know, she may come to wind up regretting. But we'll see. All right. But there's a lot of good things that happen in this issue, which I will not tell you. One thing I will tell you is that, like, you know, the backup story featuring Miss Marvel. So it's Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, and a nice little backup story here in this book. And this is another pretty, like, you know, landmark issue. If you read the book, you will find that there's a letter to the fans in the back, to all the Carol Corps. This is the first run of Captain Marvel comics that actually made it to issue 30. Right? So I think that's definitely like a testament to all the Carol Corps out there for supporting this book, and also to let me make sure I got her name right. I don't want to screw this up. To Kelly Thompson, who's just done a phenomenal job of writing this book, and then there's been the rotating art team on this book, who's also been doing great work, providing great visuals for the book. But yeah, shout out to everybody involved in making this book a consistent, great read. It's also one of my consistent books of the week. And again, shout out to Kelly Thompson, who's also writing Black Widow, giving a great but distinct voice to both the major characters of the Marvel Universe, in Captain Marvel and Black Widow. So, great job by her. So I'm going to move on. Captain Marvel number 30, go ahead and get the book. We'll move on to Flash number 772, right? So Wally West is now the Flash again, right? And there comes along with his getting his family back, which was one of the big things that was part of his story when he was reintroduced in the Rebirth book several years ago. Wally's back. He is the Flash of the DC universe. He's taking that name. And he's got his status quo. He's got his wife. He's got his family. And he's also got the villains, right? The classic Flash villains. And one of them he's going to have to deal with right now is a very angry heat wave. And there is a specific reason for that. And I will not tell you why. You're going to have to go ahead and read the book. But I will tell you, I was very happy with the life that they've kind of given Wally now at this point, because listen, the character has been up and down the ringer, the last few years, with a lot of different things that's happened to the character. Most of which the story that seemed to kind of piss everybody off was the Heroes in Crisis story from a couple years ago. I personally thought the story was great, but again, you're not going to please everyone, right? Especially when you have a fan base that is very vocal when it comes to Wally West, because for a lot of people, and I get it, for a lot of people, they didn't know Barry Allen, right? Barry Allen to a lot of people is fairly is not a new character, because he's the classic Flash. He's the Flash that most of the Flash fans know about. But there's a generation of people who, Barry Allen was dead, right? So you had a generation of fans, their Flash was Wally West, right? And you snatched him away, and you gave us back Barry Allen, and that's great, but it kind of left everybody else who was a fan of that character kind of in the cold, right? But in any event, Wally West is the Flash again. His status quo has been updated. I really am enjoying the life that he has here now, and I think it's going to be a great thing for everybody to go ahead and see as they continue on with his story. All right. So we're going to move on. All right. It is Moon Knight number 1. Right. His mission is justice. Right. So again, another great start for a new book. All right. Especially coming off the heels of for the character with the Age of Khonshu story from the Avengers. Moon Knight has made himself the protector of those who travel at night. So, if you're a night traveler and you're trying to get to the most basic of things, home, right? And you know that there are evil things that lurk in the night. Those things that are evil now have something to fear. Moon Knight. He will protect you. He will kill the dark things that lurk in the night. Moon Knight #1. Very, very intense first read. Definitely go get the book. Right? Move on. Okay. It is Miles Morales, Clone Saga. It's issue number 28. It's the Clone Saga finale. Now, I'm gonna just talk real quick here. And I don't want to make this a big thing, but you see how they did this Clone Saga with Miles Morales? It was a 5-issue story. 4 or 5 issue story arc, right? They told their story. The story's here. It's done. They move on. This was the mistake that was made years ago when Peter Parker had his story arc with his Clone Saga. It should have been something that was like, kind of, it had a definite end, but instead they drugged the damn thing on for like 5 years. Like that was bad, right? Especially when where parts of it where it didn't really seem like they knew what they were doing, because like again, I said I wasn't going to get into all of this because I've addressed this before. But in the event, it is the finale to the Clone Saga and a new, potentially new status quo for one Miles Morales coming out of this book. That's all I'm going to say, because I need to rant really quickly. We love Miles Morales, right? You know what I'm saying? We all do, right? So knowing what's coming as far as like the new look, costume for the character, I fucking hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I just want them to keep like the costume that he has right now. Like it's iconic. It's beautiful. It's got my favorite colors. It's black and red. It's the perfect costume for him, right? And knowing the costume that's coming, it really irks me. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I 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 hate it. How many times can I tell you I hate it? I hate it. And that's all I'm gonna say. Alright. I will still continue to read the book because I love the character, but I hate the new costume and I know it's coming. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Alright. I hate it. I'm moving on. Alright. Alright. So it is Thor annual. We're continuing the Infinite Destiny story. Thor now has to go ahead and deal with walking Infinity Stones. And then, of course, there's my favorite part of the book. There's the backup, Infinite Fury, right? Yes, Nick Fury is featured in the book, and the villain is revealed, right? I'm not going to tell you who it is, right? I know who it is, but you need to find out. You probably know already, but if you want to know who it is, read the book, right? I would definitely tell you like parts of what's happening with the Infinite Fury definitely spins out of the pages of the most recent Avengers story, the Heroes Reborn arc. If that gives you any idea of who the villain of the story might be, right? That's all I'm going to say. So we're moving along fairly quickly here. So it's X-Men Legends #5, right? It's Peter David. It's the 90s X Factor team led by Havoc, right? Featuring Quicksilver, right? They're back, right? As you guys know, the X-Men Legends story features untold stories from X-Men, untold X-Men stories from the past, featuring the creators who did runs featuring those characters, right? So as everybody knows, like Peter David is a legendary writer in comics, period, but mostly known for like his legendary runs on X Factor and also on the Incredible Hulk. But we're talking about X-Men stuff. Again, like I said, it's Peter David on the 90s X Factor. You want this book, you need this book, go get the book, all right? X-Men Legend #5, go get the book, all right? Again, we're moving on. It is New Mutants #20, right? The Shadow King strikes, all right? More hijinks between the New Mutants and the Spectre of the Shadow King, and what that means for the New Mutants. You need the book. New Mutants #20, go get the book, all right? Marauders #22. featuring a story of Emma Frost from the past, right? Coming out of the Hellfire Gala. Right? There's just one of those instances where, like, in case you forgot how ruthless Emma Frost can be, read this book and you get a very stark reminder. All right? Marauders number 27. Go get the book. All right? Again, another book that I am happy to sit here and be able to tell you is a consistent book on my books of the week when it comes out monthly. It's Nightwing number 82, and we find more about the mystery of Melinda Zuko. Right? If those of you who are familiar with Nightwing know Zuko, Tony Zuko, is the mobster who was responsible for Nightwing's for the death of Nightwing's parents. So you hear the name of Melinda Zuko, and you're thinking, shit, dude, Dick just can't get away from the Zuko family. Therein lies the story, right? Because there was a great revelation made last issue about the origin of one Melinda Zuko. You need to read this book to figure out, like, what that means if you don't know by now, right? If you read last issue, then you know, but then there's more. There's also a great scene in particular where heroes of the DC universe, like, you think they're gonna come and rescue Nightwing, and then he has to come along. Right? It's just really, really great moment. Like, he's sitting here, he's actually having a conversation. He's like, Oracle, Dick, call off the rescue mission. And then everybody who's coming to go ahead and, like, rescue Nightwing, they just stop and they go away. It's a really, really great scene, right? More so when you see everybody else, when you see everybody who's doing it, right? And the one person who really doesn't say a word, he just flies away. You only get one guess as to who that is, right? You gotta know who it is, right? Anyway, it's Nightwing number 82. Go get the book. All right. We're reaching a close here. We've only got a couple books left. It is Guardians of the Galaxy number 16, right? The last annihilation is here, right? Dormammu has basically become planet-sized Dormammu, right? And he threatens the entire cosmos. This is why the Guardians of the Galaxy had to get bigger. This is why they are in the position that they are in. This is why this is the last annihilation. I'm just going to read the tagline here on the bottom of the book. Look upon me and no fear. Fear is the dread Dormammu. Go get the book. Guardians of the Galaxy number 16. Justice League number 65. Right? Great cover there. And with some revelations and fighting. Right? What does that mean? You have to read the book and find out. Right? Again, really enjoying this book since my man Brian Michael Bendis took over. I hope you love it, right? Because I do love it. It's great. And it's got Green Arrow, Black Canary in it. I love the fact that they're featured prominently in the book. There's some more stuff I want to say about that. If you guys might remember, years ago, Black Canary was actually the leader of the Justice League for a minute. She's not now. Green Arrow is actually the leader of the Justice League. It's like picturing Green Arrow leading a Justice League team is kind of funny. For those of you who have watched Arrow, right? The Oliver Queen that appeared in Arrow is very much different from comic book Oliver Queen, in a lot of ways, right? And in a lot of ways they're very much the same. I can't say much more than that. I could, but I won't. I gotta move on. All right. The last book on the list for books of the week this week, it is Superman and the Authority. Right. This book has definitely been long awaited, and I know just by virtue of the title and the cover itself, it has to be very shocking, right? For those of you who know what the Authority is, and for those of you who know who Superman is, unless you're living under a rock, right? These two things don't seem to mix, right? But what I will say is, if you've read any of the Future State books, specifically the Superman ones, there's a reason why Superman may be in this position of teaming up / leading the Authority, right? Only thing I can sit here and tell you is it's Grant Morrison, the writer, it's Superman, the character, and it's the Authority. Two things that Grant Morrison has very much a great time having dealt with, right? Superman and the Authority, and now together, right? So, really great first book. It's great. It's great. You're gonna love it. And that's it. All right. It's a lot of books there, right? But this is the beauty of YouTube. I can sit here and I can talk about as many comics as I want, right? For as long as I want, right? So hopefully, well, maybe not for as long as I want, because eventually you guys might get bored and you may check out. But I'm probably gonna start to run out of time. In any event, I hope you guys enjoy this new era of Comic Book Wednesday and Books of the Week. This is really awesome for me to be able to sit here and continue to talk to you guys about comics the way I like to. So, as always, you guys know the deal. I've said this like ever and a day. Support your local comic shop. Go get your books. And yeah, it's your boy B Daddy Cosplay. If you like this, please subscribe, like, share. Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you want to not see. All right. You want me to talk less? I can do that. I might not do it, but I can try. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for watching. Those of you who watch, tell your friends about me. That's it. It's your boy B Daddy Cosplay. This has been Books of the Week. I am out.